My name is Alisha, and I am 21 years old. I never imagined that one ordinary evening could turn into the darkest night of my life. It all started with a misunderstanding, one that changed how I looked at the world forever. It was late evening when I left the coaching center. The streets were quiet, and the wind carried that strange feeling of loneliness. I was walking home when suddenly a police van stopped beside me. 2 officers stepped out and asked for my name. I hesitated but answered politely. Then, one of them said, "You're under investigation. Please come with us." My heart began to pound. Investigation? For what? I asked. They didn't answer. They just told me to sit in the van. People from nearby shops began staring. I wanted to shout, to explain I hadn't done anything wrong, but my voice froze. Inside the police van, the silence was heavy. My thoughts were running wild. Did something happen in the area? Did they mistake me for someone else? When we reached the station, the air smelled of smoke, sweat, and fear. The walls were dark, and the sound of typewriters and ringing phones filled the room. One female officer took my bag, my phone, and said coldly, "Sit there and wait." I sat on a wooden bench, trembling. I could see other people inside the lockup. Some were shouting, others were silent like statues. My body was shaking, but my mind kept whispering, "You're innocent. You've done nothing wrong." After almost an hour, an officer came to me with a file, angry, and said, "Your name came up in a case of stolen jewelry. Someone saw you near the scene." I felt my stomach twist. "What?" "No, that's impossible," I cried. But he didn't seem to care. He just kept staring, his tone harsh, his questions endless. Every word I said felt useless. The more I explained, the less they believed me. One officer smirked and said, "Girls like you always have stories." His words pierced my heart. I felt humiliated, helpless. Hours passed. The lights buzzed overhead, and the clock on the wall moved painfully slow. I was exhausted, hungry, and scared. At one point, a senior officer came in, older, with a calm face but sharp eyes. He looked at me for a moment and said softly, "Tell me the truth, and you'll go home soon." I wanted to believe him. I told him everything, where I was, what time I left, who saw me. Midnight arrived. The station grew quieter, but my fear grew stronger. I could hear faint laughs from the corridor, the sound of boots echoing on the floor. I wrapped my arms around myself, trying to stay calm. I had never felt so unsafe in my life. A female constable later came with a blanket. "You can rest here till morning," she said. I thanked her, but my eyes stayed open. I didn't trust anyone. I thought about my mother. She didn't even know I was here. What would she think if she found out? I stared at the dim bulb above me, tears silently rolling down my cheeks. How quickly life can turn from peaceful to terrifying. Then, around 2 a.m., I heard someone whisper my name. "Alisha?" It was the senior officer. He told me to come to his office. My heart raced again. I followed him slowly, my footsteps echoing in the silence. He sat behind his desk, looking at some papers. "We checked your record," he said. "Nothing suspicious. But your name still appears in the complaint I tried to speak, but my voice broke. Sir, I swear I didn't do anything." He looked at me for a long time and then sighed. "We'll find out the truth in the morning." That night I sat in the corner of the police station, a place full of strangers, fear, and judgment, waiting for dawn to prove my innocence. I realized how easily a person's dignity can be taken away, how a misunderstanding can destroy peace, and how society treats a girl when she's accused, even before she's proven guilty. But I also felt a strange strength rising inside me, a quiet voice whispering, "You must survive this night." The night finally ended, but for me it felt like a lifetime. My eyes were heavy, my heart empty, and my body cold from sitting on that hard bench all night. The station's lights flickered as the morning sun tried to peek through the barred windows. I heard footsteps, officers starting their morning shift. A new face entered, a female inspector. She looked serious but kind. When she saw me sitting there, she asked, "Why is this girl still here?" One of the male officers replied lazily, "She's involved in the jewelry theft case." Her name came up. The female inspector looked at me carefully. "Did you check the CCTV footage?" she asked. There was silence. No one answered. That silence told her everything. She turned toward me and said gently, "Don't worry, I'll look into it myself." She walked out, and a few minutes later, she came back with a USB drive in her hand. They connected it to a monitor, and there, on the screen, was the real face of the thief. It wasn't me. The footage showed another woman wearing the same color of dress I had on that night. That's why the witness got confused. The inspector looked at me with pity. "I'm sorry, Alisha. This was a misunderstanding." My eyes filled with tears. I didn't know whether to feel happy or broken. Happy that I was free, or broken because of how I was treated without a reason. The senior officer who questioned me last night came in and said, "You can go now." Just like that. No apology, no explanation, no justice. I wanted to scream, "Do you know what I went through last night?" But the words stuck in my throat. I stood up slowly. My legs were trembling. When they returned my bag and phone, I noticed one officer smirk at me again, as if I should be thankful to them for letting me go. I walked out without looking back. The sun outside was bright, but I couldn't feel its warmth. My soul felt tired. When I reached home, my mother ran to me. Her eyes were swollen from crying. "Where were you, Alisha? I thought something terrible happened." I hugged her tightly and cried like a child. "Ami, they thought I was a criminal," I whispered. She stroked my hair, whispering, "You're safe now, my daughter. That's all that matters." But deep inside, I knew something had changed. That night had taken away a piece of my innocence, my trust in the system, and my belief that truth always wins easily. For days, I couldn't sleep. Every sound reminded me of the station, the laughter, the echo of boots, the cold stares. I realized how many innocent people must be suffering behind those walls, unseen, unheard, and unloved. One evening, I gathered the courage to go back to the police station, not as a victim, but as a voice. I met the same female inspector who helped me. I thanked her and said, "Ma'am, I want to help other girls who go through what I faced. Many of them don't survive that night emotionally." She smiled and said, "That's brave, Alisha. The world needs girls like you." That moment changed everything for me. I decided to study law. I wanted to become the kind of person who could protect others, who could stand up for truth, and who could make sure no innocent girl ever has to spend a night in fear just because of a mistake. Moral message. That night taught me something important. The world judges women too easily, but protects them too little. Every woman deserves safety, dignity, and respect, no matter where she is or what time it is. If you see injustice, don't stay silent. Speak up, because silence supports the wrong side. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and comment your thoughts below. Subscribe for more real-life English stories that teach both language and life lessons.